The Eclipse Palace rose like a mountain sculpted from obsidian and starlight. Floating lanterns drifted above the moat, glowing like captured fireflies. At the gate, 2 royal sentries scanned me with crimson eyes, their expressions sharp, predatory. "State your purpose," one hissed. I swallowed. "Courier Jalen Rowe. Delivery for Princess Serafina." They exchanged a look. Amusement? Hunger? Hard to tell. Then one stepped aside. "The princess is expecting you." Expecting me. That phrase felt heavier than the package in my hands. A servant escorted me through towering halls lined with portraits of past rulers, all pale, elegant, terrifying. My boots clicked loudly, far too human against marble floors polished so perfectly they reflected the moonlight chandeliers. When the doors to the Starfall ballroom opened, my breath caught. She was there, Princess Serafina Dracora, the only daughter of the Vampire High Queen, the rumored heir to the Eternal Throne, and the most dangerous woman in the solar system. Not because she had fangs, but because she had power. She stood alone beneath cascading curtains of light, wearing a gown of midnight waves that shimmered as she turned. Her skin was moon-pale, her hair a river of silver black, but her eyes, deep red with a glow that wasn't hostile, just ancient, curious, searching. "You're late," she said softly. I looked at my wrist tracker. "I'm actually 7 minutes early." A smile tugged her lips. "I know. I wanted to see how you'd respond." I blinked. "The package, princess." She stepped closer, gaze fixed on me rather than the case. "Before that, will you dance with me?" I stared. She couldn't be serious. I was a courier, a nobody. She was royalty, a vampire princess with a ballroom full of history behind her. "That's not part of the delivery," I managed. "It is tonight." Her hand lifted, elegant and cold as moonlight. Everything in my brain screamed run, but something deeper whispered stay. And I took her hand. Middle, a princess of shadows. She led with effortless grace, guiding me across the marble floor as though the two of us had rehearsed for years. Music rose from hidden speakers, soft, haunting, like starlight crystallized into sound. "You dance well," she murmured. "I've never danced in my life." "Then your body is simply honest." I flushed, unsure whether that was a compliment or a warning. "You know," she continued, "most people tremble when they enter this palace. But you only trembled when I asked you to dance." "Trembled?" "No, She arched a brow. "Okay, maybe a little." She laughed, a sound like frost cracking under dawn. "That's good. Fear is wisdom. But you came anyway." "Because it's my job." "No," she whispered. "It's something else." The music slowed. She stopped. I released her hand, but she caught my wrist gently. "Do you know what you're delivering?" I shook my head. "I don't ask questions." "That's what I thought. But tonight, I want you to know." She took the package, pressed her thumb to the crescent seal, and it unfolded with a whisper of cold air. Inside lay a small vial filled with swirling red-black liquid. It glowed faintly, like a captured star. "What is that?" I breathed. "A cure," she said. "For me." I frowned. "You're sick?" She met my eyes. "Vampires are not immortal, Jalen. Not truly. We burden ourselves with strength, but it comes at a cost. Our minds fade over centuries. Our bodies grow weary. This vial contains a stabilizing serum, one I've waited decades for." "Then why am I here? Why deliver it to me?" She hesitated, and for the first time, she looked uncertain. "Because the cure is incomplete," she said. "To activate it, I need something unusual, something rare." "What do you need?" She stepped closer. I need a dance. I blinked hard. A dance? Not the physical movement, she clarified. The energy. The bond. A shared rhythm. The moment two life forces synchronized perfectly. Your presence that resonated with me. I opened my mouth to argue, but she lifted a hand. If I drink this without synchronization, it will destroy me. The room felt suddenly too cold. So, you want to use me as what? A stabilizer? She nodded once. I exhaled shakily. And if I say no? Then I die tonight. There it was simple, heavy, terrifying. And somehow, she wasn't manipulating. She wasn't commanding me. She was asking. Why me? I whispered. Because since the moment you entered this ballroom, she said quietly, I've been calm. And I haven't felt calm in centuries. Her voice trembled at the last word. A tremble from a creature who should never tremble. I don't care what I am, she added. Tonight, I'm just someone asking for help. And that broke something open inside me. Okay, I whispered. I'll help. The synchronization, she closed the case and placed the vial around her neck with a silver chain. Take my hands, she murmured. I did. Her skin was icy, but her fingers tightened with surprising warmth. Now breathe with me. The music shifted, slower, deeper. My heartbeat steadied. The air thickened with something electric as she guided me into a dance far gentler than before, a drifting motion, a flow of shared steps. Focus on nothing but the rhythm, she whispered. Her voice became distant, echoing slightly. The shadows in the ballroom swirled with us, drawn to the pulsing bond forming between our movements. My vision blurred. Colors glowed at the edges. The artificial moonlight brightened above us. Then I felt it, a tug in my chest, like my heartbeat was aligning with hers. Her crimson eyes widened. It's working. A soft wind spiraled around us, lifting the hem of her gown and brushing against my jacket. The vial glowed, pulsing with our synchronized rhythm. Jalen, she whispered. Whatever happens, don't let go. I won't. The pulse intensified. Her breath hitched. She released one hand to grab the vial and drank it in one fluid motion. The light exploded. A shockwave sent us spinning into darkness. After the light, when awareness returned, I lay on the ballroom floor, staring up at the artificial moon like it might fall on me. A soft weight rested against my chest. Princess Serafina. Her head was on my shoulder, her hair spilling like dark water. She looked peaceful, alive. Then her eyes opened, but they weren't glowing red. They were a soft, luminous silver. You're awake, she whispered. I could say the same to you. She laughed softly, pressing a hand to her forehead. I feel different. Lighter. Human? No. Something in between. Her gaze flicked to me. You did it. I blinked. I didn't do anything. You risked everything, she corrected. If the synchronization failed, it would have taken your life instead of mine. I swallowed hard. You didn't mention that part. Would you have refused? I hesitated. No, she smiled warm. Real. Before I could speak again, the ballroom doors slammed open. A dozen royal guards stormed in, fangs bared, weapons drawn. Princess, are you harmed? Serafina rose, elegant but firm. Lower your weapons. Now. They obeyed instantly, but eyed me like I was a creature stuck to the underside of a boot. One guard spoke, voice venomous. Why is a human on the royal floor? Serafina didn't answer with anger. Instead, she stepped between us. Because he saved my life. The guard stiffened. Murmurs rippled like sparks. And because, she continued, I invited him. You could have heard a feather fall. No vampire princess invited a human anywhere, much less to dance. He stays as my guest, she declared. Under my protection. A title more powerful than armor. The guard stiffened, bowed, and retreated, shooting me looks torn between disbelief and annoyance. When they were gone, Serafina turned back to me. I'm sorry, she said. You didn't ask for any of this. I didn't, I admitted. But I'm not sorry. Her silver eyes warmed. Neither am I. The middle, growing dangers for the next several days, I remained inside the palace as Serafina's physicians monitored her transformation. The cure hadn't made her human, but it had changed her. She no longer required blood, as constantly. Her strength surged and faded in cycles like a human heartbeat. And for the first time in her life, she could step into half-light without fear. But with change came danger. The High Council, ancient vampires who valued purity above life, saw her transformation as a threat. A weakened heir invites rebellion. One counselor growled. This human, this courier, has tainted royal blood. I wasn't supposed to hear that conversation, but the walls of Eclipse Palace whispered more than they echoed. Serafina, however, faced them head-on. My strength is not diminished, she said sharply. It is transformed, and the transformation saved my life. If you wish to challenge that, then challenge me. None dared, but their eyes promised trouble. A few nights later, as I sat on a balcony overlooking the floating gardens, Serafina joined me. She'd changed into a simpler, softer outfit, a midnight blue cloak and boots instead of royal gowns. She looked free. You heard them, didn't you? She asked. I didn't mean to eavesdrop. You didn't need to. They wanted you to hear. I frowned. To scare me? To scare me. She leaned on the railing. But you aren't leaving, are you? I swallowed. Do you want me to? Her voice dropped. No, moonlight washed over her face as she turned toward me. My life was darkness before the transformation, she whispered. Centuries of perfection, expectation, and cold survival. But then you walked in wearing a scuffed jacket, and suddenly I wasn't afraid to feel anything. My heart thumped. Serafina. She lifted a hand, brushing my cheek. Stay. As long as you choose. Stay. I will, I whispered. If you want me to. She smiled, small, warm, real. Good. The ending, one last dance, but the High Council wasn't done. On the night of the lunar convergence ceremony, where Serafina was supposed to present herself as the future queen, they struck. An ambush. Guards loyal to the council rushed the ceremonial hall, aiming to detain her and purify her before the public saw her altered form. I saw one raise a blade behind her as she stood at the center of the hall. Without thinking, I lunged. Serafina. Steel clashed. Pain burst across my arm as the blade grazed me. The crowd gasped, but Serafina's eyes turned cold as winter. You dare attack my guest? The temperature plummeted. Shadows erupted around her like wings. Her silver eyes ignited with ancient fury. In one sweeping motion, she unleashed a wave of shimmering darkness that froze the attackers in place. Not killing, not harming, just restraining effortlessly. Silence swallowed the hall. Then slowly, the crowd bowed to her. All of them. The council had failed. Serafina turned to me. You're hurt. Just a scratch, I said, even though my arm throbbed. She stepped close, placing her hand over the cut. A soft glow pulsed beneath her palm. The pain vanished. Her new abilities, they weren't a weakness. They were evolution. When the hall cleared and the torches dimmed, she guided me back to the ballroom where everything had begun. Jalen, she whispered, do you know why I asked you to dance that night? Because you needed a stabilizer? No, her smile was full, luminous. Because I wanted to. My heartbeat stumbled. "And now," she said softly, offering her hand, "I want to dance again. Not for survival. Not for magic. Just for us." I took her hand. This time I led. The moonlight shimmered around us, gentle and warm. She rested her head on my shoulder, and for the first time, she felt less like a princess of shadows and more like someone simply learning how to be alive. "Jalen," she murmured. "Yeah, I think my future just changed." I smiled. "Mine too." And as we danced, human and vampire, light and shadow, the palace felt less like a place of fear and more like the beginning of something neither of us could have predicted. Not duty, not destiny, but choice. Her choice. My choice. Our dance. The end.